Hey guys, welcome back to the Europats, or welcome if you're new here. We're Matt and Diane, and if you have been following along, you know that we have been seriously looking into retiring in Europe. And lately, we have been really focused on Albania. In our last video, we talked about everything that could go wrong, and that one sparked some pretty real conversations between us after we turned the camera off. And not just quick conversations. I mean the kind where you sit there and we're going, okay, if we're really going to do this, what does this actually look like? Because it's one thing to talk about moving abroad, and it's a whole other thing actually picturing yourself doing it. So, in staying in that what if space, we wanted to take it one step further and ask, what would actually happen if we landed in Albania tomorrow? Not the highlight reel version, not the worst case scenario, just the real version. The tired, slightly overwhelmed, figuring it all out as we go version. Now, as y'all know, we have not done this yet, but we have spent months researching, watching other people go through it, reading everything that we can find. So, this is as close as we can realistically get to what we think those first 24 hours would actually feel like.
And this actually changed how I think about all of this. Because when you break it down like that, it stops being this big abstract idea and it turns into a series of small decisions. Like, okay, we land. Now what? And then what do we do after that? And when you start stacking those moments together, that's when it starts to feel real.
Hey y'all, we're Matt and Diane. We're a U.S. couple planning to retire in France in 2030. But we found a way to start that journey 3 years earlier by starting in Albania. So we're taking our time, digging into each place, and learning what life there is really like. Come with us.
All right, before we go any further, we decided that we want to start something new. We are calling it From the Comments. So each week, we will be highlighting a comment that really stood out to us, whether it's helpful, thoughtful, or even downright rude.
Nasty.
This week's comment comes from viewer EVPNYC. His comment says, "How would you know? You'll never leave. I've been watching you talk about moving abroad for over a year."
Yeah. And first of all, we just want to say we appreciate the commitment.
I mean, at this point, this might be our most loyal viewer. And like I said in my reply to them, it's like a dog to an owner type of loyalty. It's very admirable because he has literally put a comment on just about every video for as far back as I can remember.
Hmm.
I mean, now that is loyalty. And we're honored that you feel the need to comment on every video. We appreciate it.
And if you've been watching us for over a year, we're going to count that as support.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, to be fair, they're not wrong about one thing. We have been talking about this for a while.
And it hasn't been exactly an overnight decision.
No, but there's a reason for that. This isn't a vacation, it is a full life change.
And we're trying to do it the right way, not the fast way.
So, while it might look like we're just talking, what we're actually doing is planning, researching, and figuring this out step by step.
And bringing you guys along with us as we do it.
So, to our loyal, very loyal commenter, we see you, we appreciate you, and we promise when we do make the move, you are going to be the first person to hear, "I told you so," loud and clear. And I cannot wait to tell you that I told you so. In fact, what would be really nice is if all of our viewers would reach out to EVP NYC when we do make this move, and you can tell them too, hey, look, the Europats made the move that they said they were going to make for the past year and a half.
So, yes, EVP NYC, we will give you that one.
Absolutely, because you deserve it. And if any of you have got a question, a thought, or even a comment like this one, drop it below and we might feature it in the next video. All right, so let's walk this out. We've just landed at Tirana International Airport after a long, arduous flight. And I think it's important to say this out loud. We will definitely not be feeling our best in that moment. Excited,
Yes.
but exhausted. We are going to be so tired, maybe a little jet lagged, a little disoriented, and just trying to get our bearings. And from everything that we've read, the airport itself isn't huge, and that helps a lot, to be honest. You're not trying to navigate something overwhelming right off the plane. And one thing that we've already decided is that we are going to start out in Tirana. Not necessarily because that's where we want to stay long term, but because it puts us close to everything that we're going to need in the beginning. Legal offices, to do our residency paperwork, anything administrative. It just makes sense to start in Tirana. And at the same time, this would also be our base while we start exploring. We would use that time to research other cities, to get out and see different areas, and really figure out where we'd want to sign a longer term lease once we feel confident. So the first thing that we would want to do is just get ourselves set up. Make sure our cards are working, maybe grab a little local currency if we need it. But more than anything, we'd want to get connected, because once your phone is working, everything else becomes a whole lot easier.
And this is something that we actually went back and forth on just a little bit because a lot of people, they have told us to set up an eSIM before we leave. And from everything that we've looked into, that actually makes a lot of sense. If you do that, your phone can connect automatically when you land, so you're not just standing there trying to figure things out with no signal. But one thing that we did find is that not all of them work exactly the same way. Some don't activate until you actually connect to the country, and some start the clock the minute you install them. So that's something that we definitely want to double check before doing it. Didn't see that one coming, did you?
Because the last thing that we would want is to lose a couple of days on a plan before we even get there. But overall, I do think we'd want something set up ahead of time, just so when we land, we can pull up maps, look things up, and not feel completely disconnected. And then once we're settled, we'd probably look into getting a local sim for longer term use.
Because that just seems to be the better option once you're actually there for a while. Speed Bailey. We will be getting there on my guns.
After that, the next decision is how we actually get from the airport to wherever it is that we end up staying. And this is one of those moments where it's really easy to overthink it.
Day one is actually keeping things as simple as possible.
Exactly. Taxi straight to where we're staying, no extra decisions. Because at that point, we're not trying to explore, we're just trying to get there. One thing that we also talked about is, what if something doesn't go smoothly that first day? Because let's be honest, travel doesn't always go perfectly, especially for Matt and Diane. Flights get delayed, bags don't show up right away, things don't go exactly how you planned. And I think that's something that we would have to be mentally prepared for going into this.
Yeah, and I think that's where expectation really matters. If you expect everything to go perfectly, that's when it becomes frustrating. But if you expect a few hiccups, it's a lot easier to adjust.
We are not signing a lease right away. We need time to figure things out. So for us, it would be an Airbnb for at least a week or two.
Yeah, and it gives you breathing room. You're not just rushing into anything.
And then on that first night, we get to the Airbnb, and now we are there. And I think expectations and reality are very, very different here. You picture exploring, but in reality, you are just tired. We would keep it simple, grab some food, grab some water, and just settle in because this is when the moment hits that this is not a trip.
And that's when it becomes something bigger.
And I think that's also when you start noticing the little differences, even simple things, stores, how things are labeled, how you pay. It's not that it's hard, it's just different.
And it's not the big thing, it's a bunch of small things that remind you you're somewhere new.
This is the part that I have thought about the most. Everything feels unfamiliar, and then it really hits you. We did this, and you can't fully prepare for that feeling.
And it's not just logistics, it's emotional.
Exactly. It is excitement, but also uncertainty. I think that that next morning would feel different. You wake up and for a second you forget where you are and then it hits you again. And now it's not arrival anymore. This is real life starting.
Yeah, and that's whenever it shifts to, okay, now what?
Exactly. And that's when we'd start being more intentional. Coffee, walking around, observing, figuring out daily life. This isn't going to feel normal right away. It's going to take some time, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that it's new.
Yeah, and that's something you really have to remind yourself of.
Yeah, because we're not going to know what the heck is going on. Our head is going to be on a swivel,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
it's going to be a cluster. We're going to know nothing, no one, and nothing. And we're just throwing ourselves in it right in the middle of the mix.
We know people over there, but they won't be right there.
Exactly. So that is definitely going to be stressful, exciting and stressful all at the same time, and exhausting,
Yes.
probably. Now we start figuring out life, where to live, how things work.
And the big question, how do we actually stay long term?
Because planning the first 24 hours is one thing,
Making it work long term is something completely different.
and that is exactly what we're going to talk about in our next video. We have no idea, really. Again, this is all guessing what it's going to be like. I mean, I shouldn't say we have no idea. I do know that it's going to be hard, and I do know that we're just going to be so tired. And while it's easy to sit here and say, oh, it's going to be so exciting. We get to do this, we get to do this, we get to do this. But when you're in the middle of it, in the thick of it, and you don't know what to do, that can be scary.
Yeah.
You know, we take for granted how easy, in a sense, logistically, I should say, things are here in the US. If something breaks, we know who to call.
Hmm.
If something happens with our bank, we know who to call. You know, if something happens at work, we don't know what we're doing, we know who to call. When we go over there, yes, like you said, we are going to know people, but they're not going to be there.
Right.
What are we going to do? We don't have the knowledge of who to call, what to do. Um,
Well, we're also going to be having what stores to go to for what certain
right.
things,
How do you know which is cheaper?
Yeah,
You don't.
and how do we know, you know, who to actually trust when we get over there? You don't know. I
Mhm.
mean, there's scams all over the place, and with us being new over there, we
Like
are
fresh meat.
we are fresh meat for someone. But I feel that if we try to stick to a certain plan and I think everything will work out.
Yeah, we could end up just bawling, sitting there crying. I don't know what to do. I'm just saying, between
I don't ball.
yeah, between the exhaustion. I mean, literally, I feel like me personally, knowing how well I handle stress real well. I'm known for it.
Yes, she is.
Um, that I can see how, I could, I could just see how stressful it could be. I could see myself just, fine, forget it.
Well, when we finally get to the Airbnb, everything should be a little bit calmer to be able to settle in, get a few things for groceries or something like that. Next morning, probably the next afternoon, because we'll probably be sleeping in, is to go out, get some coffee, get our mind straight, and then start figuring out what's our next move. That's what it really comes down to.
And probably
Yeah.
just getting out a little bit every single day,
Ta-
going out a little further.
Taking it step by step,
Right.
day by day, and I think we'll be fine.
Right.
It's we're gonna have to figure out where places are.
Hmm.
The consulate. We'll have to know where to go there. We'll have to know where to go for the legal stuff. It'll just take a little time and patience, and that's something that trying to get used to is slowing down.
Hmm. And patience. That's my middle name. I mean, what could happen? What could go wrong? Yeah. And I feel like also, you know, we're going to have a purpose, right? It's not like we're just going to be roaming around nilly willy. We need to find an immigration attorney and we need to go meet with them. I want to do that as soon as possible and get working on Matt's residency.
Residency.
And then I'm just going to go over on his at that point because I'm not going to have any income. It's going to be all Matt's. Um, and so, you know, at first, the goal is to get your stuff started. I mean, we've got to do that as soon as we possibly can
Right.
and find a place to stay, not long term, but long enough that
Long enough for us to be able to go out and find us another place that we're comfortable with and to have that lease or long term agreement signed and we know where we're going
for
to be sitting
residency.
for a while.
Right. And then, that'll give us time to, like I said, just explore, see where things are, And I think, especially after the first couple of weeks, we should be able to know where the basics are, where we can find, if we go out a little bit every day, we'll be able to find where the meat market is, where the bread market is, where the grocery stores are, where the post office is.
Where's going to be your favorite vegetable stand to go to or fruit stand, whatever,
Yeah.
to go to, or you can eventually make friends with them and, you know, be able to just walk up to them and say, Maria, how you doing?
Mhm.
George, you're doing great. Looking good, Fred.
I doubt that those are names over there. It could be. You never know. But yeah, so I mean, it's going to be challenging, but we can do it.
Oh, yes, definitely.
We can do it, EVP NYC. We can do it. Watch us do it.
Well, just to let y'all know, the guys at my work they had a little bet going and wanted to know if I wanted to get into it. And I said, well, what's the bet? And they said, we're betting that some of us are betting that you are going to be retiring next February and moving in March, and some say you're not. And I said, well, I will win that bet no matter what because I know what dates I'm retiring. I know what dates I'm going to be moving. So just hand me the money right now. I'm good.
It's starting to feel more and more real every day. Our house went live this week. So it is on the market and ready to go. And we pray for a quick sale.
Yes.
And so I think it's going to feel even more real once we get out from under this house. As I've said numerous times now, I have never been more ready to not own a home. I am ready for this to be over. And so, y'all know of anybody that needs a house in Texas? Because we got one furnished.
Yes, it's gonna be furnished. All the TVs stay.
Y'all could have a new picture every day too.
All the furniture stays. Just a few things that we're gonna be taking other than our clothes, and then we're out.
But we are taking steps. And so this is a big one. And I feel like once we get this step completed, I feel like I can take a breath, before real reality sets in. Then I can't breathe again. But so
Yeah.
anyway, that's the goal right now. Oh, I was going to ask you guys that have already made the move over there, whether it be France or whether it be Albania or wherever, how was y'all's first day? Leave us a comment below because, again, we're going to start featuring a comment every week. So let us know in the comments if you've done this before. What was your first 24 hours like?
And we're gonna pick it as good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah, EVP NYC.
So let's try to do a good comment, and we will post it.
But we really do want to know what y'all's experience has been. And if this video helped you in any way, please make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified of when our next video will be out, which will be next Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central. We also have our Sunday lives, our coffee snack and chats, every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central. You don't want to miss it. We have the best group, as we say all the time. We had some special guests today, and we had special guests last week. And
Yes.
so we've had a lot of fun these past couple of weeks. But yeah, you never know what's going to happen. So you definitely should join.
So you better show.
And bring your snacks, dang it. Maybe you come without snacks.
And quit eating dinner before you get on
What's
the
wrong with y'all?
before you get on the live.
Have snacks. It's in the name. Also, don't forget you can check out our Patreon page. It's free. We do not charge for anything over there. We've got a lot of insider notes. We've got videos. We've got all kinds of stuff over there if you want to check that out. You can also buy us a coffee on our Buy Me a Coffee page. If you want to join this channel, you can click on the link below. And don't forget, we also have merch. If you feel so led and want some new Europats merch, please feel free to visit our merch store. So you guys have a great week, and we will see y'all next Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central. Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.